These two clubs, traditional rivals. Of course, way back in 1965 in the grand final, they drew the biggest ever crowd here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, just over 78,000. There's the kick-off. South Sydney get the ball after St George kicked off. South Sydney defending that southern end of the ground, the Randwick end or scoreboard end, and Lindsay Johnston taking it up just outside his own quarter line. Fullerton Smith up there with Young. In at dummy half is Coleman. Now taking it up this time is Mario Fennick. He's going to be asked to play it midway half and quarter line. Down in South Sydney's territory, back towards the cricket pitch in the centre of the field. Let's go down to the sideline. And good afternoon to Ian Hansen.
Thanks, David. The St George Dragons running from the Paddington end of the field with a light breeze at their backs. As always here at the SCG, the wind is swirling into the centre, and that makes it tricky for players. And the field, as the viewers can see, is an absolute magnificent condition, and that augurs well for the State of Origin game on Tuesday night.
It is actually in outstanding condition, the field, and there's almost a mistake made by Funnel. In fact, he has made the mistake. He didn't take it on the full, and Jason Moon quickly has pounced on that ball, and he's got it for South. 18 metres out, Coleman sends it away to Maven. Oh, good tackling that time from Wilfred Williams, but 10 metres out, the Rabbitohs. It's with Coleman. Now the ball comes away to Fennick. Fennick will go close. Oh, he's half a metre out. He's pulled down. Good tackling that time from Beattie in desperation. Coleman again in a dummy half. He sends the pass away from Ellison. It went out to Andrews. Andrews has slipped the pass back to Cruikshank. The wide pass over the top. They've still got a chance here, the Rabbits, but Harrington couldn't pick it up. He got a bad bounce. And up there affecting the tackle, Ricky Walford. Last tackle against the Rabbits. They're 19 metres out as the pass comes to Ellison. He puts the grubber kick in across the face of the goal. Here's a chance for South. Still Wilfred Williams is back there. Can he get back into the field of play? No. Good football from South Sydney, and play will restart with a line dropout.
Certainly was great football, David, but bad mistake by the fullback, Steve Funnell. Yeah. Well, this is a kick here, and a very good one indeed. Now, you'll see that the St George defence is split there. Beattie was looking to say, where is everyone? A little bit of confusion.
And Chisholm's wrapped up by good St George defence that time. Fullerton Smith, Townsend and also Selby. Coleman's pass away to Fennick, throws the dummy in on his own. Back it goes. It's picked up by Coleman. Coleman out wide finds Maven. Maven's got the pass away. Now to Harrington. Harrington, the strong, long stride running winger, has got within about 8 metres of the line. As Coleman's put his kick in behind the St George defence, and Williams is back there. And I think he's got it for St George, and it'll be another line dropout.
Well, this is
losing your teeth.
Well, you were nearly as awkward as that wingman was to put down there, David. But this St George defence is completely mesmerised by the South Sydney onslaught at the present. They've kept the ball alive. They're looking for the man in support, and it's paying off. And once again, very, very fortunate for the Dragons. A lot of pressure. They're well and truly on the rack.
Well, St George have missed 7 tackles already, and we've only just had 5.5 minutes play. It's been all South Sydney. They've got the ball on the St George quarter line. Fennick in a dummy half. And that's Johnston.
You notice, David, that South Sydney using their forwards very heavy, close to the ruck, and then they're spinning it out wide. And it's catching South on the hop.
Now that's Roberts. And Roberts has got within about 12 metres of the St George line. The ball comes away to Coleman. The little grubber kick. Oh, it's wrong-footed Funnel. Roberts has dived and Roberts has scored. Paul Roberts has scored the try, and the Rabbitohs are leading 4 points to 0.
Well, I don't think anybody could doubt this, David. The pressure that South Sydney have applied in this opening few minutes, they fully deserved it. A little bit fortunate with the kick. You'll see that it bounces off Beattie, sets the fullback in the wrong position, and Roberts is there. Good play. Now notice the kick here. Now it was going out to the wingman, bounces off Beattie, and poor Funnell is really out of position. He couldn't help it.
So here's Ellison attempting the conversion, and it's successful. And so South Sydney leading St George by 6 points to 0.
Well, surely the message will be coming out from Roy Masters to settle things down. They're only 6 points in arrears. South's leading 6-0.
And there's Ricky Walford put into a big hole, but the referee's going to call it back for a forward pass.
Well. A bit of 50-50 there. Here you see it on the replay. It looked pretty good to me. Now this is the one in question. Pretty bad angle, hard to tell.
And now there's nobody at home for St George. Very quickly noticed by the South Sydney backs. The ball coming through towards Blake. Blake's missed it, but it's not been missed by Maven. And Maven has it only a metre out from the St George line. The fullback up in the line, and that's what caused St George all sort of problems there. Blake trying to force his way over. Maven in a dummy half. Gee, that was good football and quick thinking by Souths. Maven a dummy half again. Away it comes. Another kick from Ellison. Back there that time. It's volleyballed across the dead ball line. In fact, I think it's gone touch in goal more so than dead in goal. It still doesn't make much difference. It's still a line dropout.
Well, this is a beautiful kick over here, and really, the little kick is putting them under a lot of pressure. Good work by the fullback. Johnny on the spot there.
Now, look at that. A lovely dummy, but it's going to be a Shepherd. Well, was it or wasn't it, really? Sometimes you can't always tell. I suppose there was a Shepherd and a bit of a crisscross there, but the rule really is, or was the defence impeded?
Well, you probably see here, David, that Ellison is actually moving. There he goes through, round the back. So, no doubt about it.
He went through the hole as it was created by the decoy. So I suppose that's fair enough, isn't it? St George have got it though. 12 metres out from the South's line. Robinson's pass finds Beattie. Beattie coming back on the inside. He's only 11 metres away from the South's line, in front of the Churchill stand as it comes now towards the centre of the field again. St George are going to play it. Selby gets up, plays it to Townsend. It goes to Kokas. His pass finds Robinson. In turn, he got it away to Noakes. And Noakes flicked that pass away. Oh, and he can't handle it, Chris Johns. And so the scrum will go down 8 metres out from the South Sydney line, almost in front of the goalposts.
Well, they're keeping the ball alive. You've got to give them full credit for that. Here you see them, you'll see, just couldn't get his fingertips to it.
There's the kick up over the halfway line, down to the quarter line. That's a good kick because Funnell had to run a long way to get that, which has given the South Sydney defence plenty of time to get up, and Moon wraps him up right round the leg. Quick play the ball. He should have checked there was a dummy half there first. As Wilfred Williams takes the ball back towards the halfway. Gee, that was a heavy tackle. Quite legal though. Roberts over the top. Kokas. Ricky Walford coming in off that left wing.
Well, this Roberts certainly showing he does more than just attack. That really was a good setup tackle.
The ball's played. It comes from Ellison to Maven. Maven back in amongst the forwards. He's away from Beattie, but he won't get away from Townsend. Beattie comes again. Coleman again. Short-sided comes to Johnston. Johnston's taken there by Graham Wynn underneath. Townsend over the top. Open side, Coleman sends it away to Ellison. Holds the ball up. He's going to be tackled. Oh, he managed to slip that away. That was a good piece of work as Fenix down towards the halfway line. Fenix still going. He's got Coleman in support. He's got Blake on the outside. Blake's got it. Blake slipped the pass back to Coleman. He almost lost his balance. He sends the pass back. It goes to Andrews. And that is a super try. Or did he get it down? Yes. What a great try.
Certainly was, David. S-U-P-E-R. Super, super, super. And that is what support football is all about. Coleman out wide to the 5'8" Ellison. He holds the ball up. How he got this away, I'll never know. Beautiful, neat pass to the lock forward, then on to the skipper, Fennick, and he does very well indeed. This is about the 4th break the hook has made. He keeps himself calm and clear. Out to Michael Blake. Inside to Coleman. Coleman dummies on the inside. A beautiful long ball. Out to the lock forward, Andrews. And in for a super try. From Ed Horn, let's have it. Now this is the ball that started it all. It should have been killed there. It wasn't. The ball kept alive. And this is a hooker, remember. Out of my way twice. Craig Young says, uh-oh, we're in trouble. He's looking for support. Beautiful insight to Michael Blake. Now what's the dummy here? There's no one at home that side. I'll go the other way. Long ball. And he just split that St George defence.
Here's Ellison coming in to add the extras. They're added. And so South Sydney leads St George 12-0.
Well, a few question marks over the St George defence. South Sydney leading 12-0 and before half-time, no luck for the Saints. They even had a try disallowed.
He took a fair fair bit of defence with him that time. Young, blindside, back it goes to Note, and Note will score, but it's a forward pass. Forward pass from Craig Young to Note.
The second half started a little more spiritedly, and luckily for the St George side, they went in shortly after.
Townsend a dummy half. Young going on his own. The pass goes to Fullerton Smith. Fullerton Smith tried to dive and get over, but he couldn't get there. Blindside it comes now. Funnel will score, and Funnel's in. The Dragons are back in business. Steve Funnel scores the try. It's 12-4 in favour of South Sydney.
Let's now rejoin the match with commentators David Morrow and Mike Stevenson.
South Sydney win the scrum. Ellison coming under the ball, then Cruikshank, the fullback, coming into the line well. He's going to play it just outside the St George quarter line. Down on the ground, injured as Beattie, as Andrews takes it ahead. And Beattie's in some agony out there at the moment too, the St George centre, as Coleman goes the other side, switches it out through Joe Thomas. Thomas sends it back to Coleman, and Coleman spied the opening, but it closed pretty quickly. Beattie receiving attention. South Sydney right on the attack as Coleman goes straight on, I should say Chisholm goes straight and hard, just out from that St George line. Now it comes to Ellison, and Ellison going to be held up and asked to play it right in front of the St George goalpost. Last tackle. Now Coleman's one man off the ruck. Blake is a dummy half. The ball comes to Coleman. Coleman tries the grubber kick this time. Something different. And in the end, the ball comes off the chest of Steve Funnel across the dead ball line, and play should restart with the line drop out, and that's going to happen. Good refereeing and good touch judging here from Martin Weeks.
Certainly was, and a good kick here. They expected that South would go for the field goal attempt. And there you see, no doubt about it.
Ellison is held up there by Robinson and Johns. Bennick dummy half. Coleman, the wide pass sees Andrews get it, and Andrews, the lock forward, fires the opening. He's still going, Michael Andrews. Back it goes to Coleman. Coleman sends it away to Chisholm. Chisholm's out of one. He's still going, and Chisholm will play it just outside the St George quarter line. Fennick from dummy half. It comes from Coleman. Quick hands. It went from Thomas. Lovely work out there. It finishes up with Roberts, but Roberts couldn't maintain his momentum. He was falling over really as he took that pass, and he's got it about 18 metres out. Now they're going to have a long-range shot at field goal. There it is. It's very high, but across the face again. No, it's over. Well, it took some time for that ball to come down, but Mark Ellison it was who kicked the field goal.
Well, a long-range effort, this one, but as you can see, he gave himself plenty of room, and it's a magnificent effort. Over it goes.
So there's the restart from St George. South Sydney have got it. And that's Harrington, who's gone straight through them. I wonder how fit Beattie is out there at the moment. It's very rare you see him miss a tackle, and that's who Harrington ran straight over the top of that time. So South Sydney have stretched that lead to just 7 points. 13 points to 6. But they've been working for that field goal, and now a beautiful pass. And look at Paul Roberts, the big second rower, has broken them up. Back it comes to Coleman. Coleman trying to link up on the other side of the field. Holds the pass up. It's come to Maven. Maven for the corner. Maven sends the pass back on the inside. Harrington can't handle it, and Townsend, the hooker, cleans it up for St George. Oh, but what fabulous football. And there's going to be a penalty here, I think.
Well, a bit over excitement there from Maven. That is one of his problems. After that magnificent run, he realised he'd thrown a wasted pass. And there you see, this really was a wasted one. It could have done better to just hold the possession.
In the back play, Steve-O, too, it was Mario Fennick, and he's doing it right now, has told this kid to keep his cool, to go back and play football and do nothing else but. He's just got to cool his temper, this kid, and he'll be a top player. If he doesn't, then he's a liability.
Well, talking of liabilities, I'm sure that the man in your screen there knows all about that. He's had a few problems himself over the few years, but he's certainly cleaned his act up.
Well, that is stupid. There is no doubt about that penalty. There was a marker. He picked the ball up on the ruck, and the penalty goes to South. Now, Craig Young, of all people, should know better than that.
It doesn't need any comment, does it, David?
So here's Ellison moving in, the shot at penalty goal. It's high, it looks pretty good, it is! What a good kick! And so South Sydney are leading St George by 15 points to 6, with just 16 and a half minutes remaining in the match. Dummy half is Wilfred Williams. He sends the pass away to Kokas. Kokas holds the pass up now and going through that gap then with Funnel as it went away to Beattie. But that was good defence from Coleman. Beattie plays the ball forward. There was no marker. The pass comes out wide now as it goes to Williams. He couldn't handle that, but he's managed to get it back. The referee said knock back. Now Williams has gone straight through. He's still going, Williams. Williams, though, with no supporters, chopped down. That was a good tackle too from young Cruikshank. As Townsend sends it the short side, it goes to Kokas. He sends it away to Fullerton Smith. Hasn't he had a big game too, Wally Fullerton Smith? And he's tackled just outside the quarter line. Townsend, as it goes to Wynn. Wynn tries the kick into the end goal area. And that ball almost went into the new football stadium.
Not the best.
About 33 metres out from that South Sydney line. Chisholm takes it up. And Chisholm's going to be held up there by Robinson and also Note. Back towards the halfway line. They send it out now to Coleman. The wide pass comes across, even wider now, South Sydney trying to run it out through their backs as it comes now towards Coleman. Coleman throws the dummy. Old Roberts has gone without it, but picking it up well as Beasley. Beasley going up towards the quarter line. The referee said play on, and he's going to play it just 20 metres out from that St George line. He plays the ball. Jason Moon. Back it goes to Coleman. Now that's Ellison. Ellison back in amongst the forwards. The pass comes back to Coleman. Coleman throws that one-handed. It's picked up by Fennick. Fennick's got away though from Wynn. He's still going, Mario. The pass has gone loose. It's been towed through by Andrews, and Andrews will score. That's the ball game. Andrews scores his second try, and it's 19 points to 6.
Well, unless you don't try things, David, you will never succeed. And South Sydney, full credit to them, they kept the ball alive. They've been doing it all afternoon. Once again, we see Coleman involved into it. He's mesmerised them today. Ellison, the switch inside, back to Coleman. Who else? Keeps the ball alive. And this guy, hasn't he had a great game? Once again, St George trying to go high, trying to give him a face massage rather than tackle him. Bit lucky there. Play on, referee correct. And as you said, David, that's a ball game. But really, South Sydney have kept this crowd alive with some scintillating football, especially by this man here, onto this man. Fennick really has been in everything. And there you saw an awful tackle, or an attempted tackle. The ball definitely coming off Wynn's arm. It's play on and a great try.
Ellison, the shot to add the extras, is there. 2 more points to South Sydney. And so the Rabbitohs are leading the Dragons by 21 points to 6.
Another change coming up for South Sydney. Neil Baker has come to the sideline. And I believe that it could be Mark Ellison, who has an injured hand, to come off the field.
So St George with the ball, and that's Walford, and Walford decides to go for a run on his own. He's got it away back to Graham Wynn. Wynn sends the pass out, but it's been intercepted by Paul Roberts. Paul Roberts sprinting down that hillside touchline, takes on Wilfred Williams, and he can't get the pass away back on the inside. But what a great run from this long striding second rower from Moree as he plays the ball, and it comes away now to Coleman. Coleman, that long wide pass, he's picked off Andrews. Andrews' pass comes away to Ellison. Now it goes to Beasley. Beasley inside one, and he's only chopped down in magnificent cover defence there by Beattie. Few metres out from the Saints line. That could have easily been a South penalty. As Coleman gets it, he goes the blind side. It comes away to Harrington, but the referee, or the touch judge I should say, has said there was a foot put in touch, and so the scrum will go down only a couple of metres out from that St George line.
There's Funnel. He certainly collected something here. Good effort by the wingman. There it is, no doubt about it. The foot right on the corner post.
Well, St George have had a few opportunities out wide, but most of them have finished like that. The St George tacklers today, really 3 of their forwards have shone out. Fullerton, Smith, Selby and Townsend have got through a lot of defensive work. So has this man too, Craig Young.
The big problem is, though, David, that they miss far too many vital missed tackles.
Now here's Coleman kicking for touch over in front of the Brawongle stand. You think everything's not going right for him at the moment. Look at that.
Was a beauty, wasn't it?
Well, there's one thing for certain anyway, Mike. If anything happens to Peter Sterling in the State of Origin matches, there's no doubts about the sort of standard of footballer that New South Wales can put on the field to take on Queensland.
Yeah, it's just a shame that the likes of Des Hasler and Peter Sterling are around, because this guy He fully deserves a chance in the top.
And here comes Robinson. Robinson's outpacing the opposition. Robinson's down over the quarter line. He's got support in Johns, and Johns will score a belated St George try next to the uprights.
Well, the only thing that does is probably spoil a few footy tap cards, as the game's well and truly over. But at least, full credit, he hasn't had much opportunity to get space. And Robinson goes on the outside of Baker. He has the speed, so full credit to Baker, coming back after an injury. He chased him all the way, and on to Chris Johns for, a consolation try, nothing else. And this is one of the few chances that the 5'8 has had. He was able to create space out wide. It was a beautiful pass inside, and finished well. And for once, St George backed up.
So here comes Ricky Walford. There's the extras added, and so St George get into 12 points as the full-time siren goes in the background. South Sydney defeating St George by 21 points to 12. Again, though, Steve-O, that South Sydney were always going to win.
Certainly was, Davey, because from the very beginning, Coleman took control, the forwards worked hard, they got the link out wide, and there was never going to be any doubt that South would run away with it.
So, South Sydney victors by 21 points to 12. For St George, Funnell and John scored the tries, with Walford kicking 2 goals, while for the victors, Andrews scored 2 tries and Paul Roberts, the second rower, scored 1. Mark Ellison kicked 4 goals and a field goal.
Every week they're at it, never daring to let up. 'Cause winning's the only thing that counts when you're playing for the Winfield Cup. It doesn't matter if you're famous or a youngster making his way. There's only one thing that matters, and that's how well you play. That's what the big game's all about. Giving it the best you can. Always being a leader, never bowing to any man. Giving it all you know, giving it your best shot, making every step a winner, proving what it takes you got. Every week they're at it, giving it their all. But who will it be this year to collect